Hey everyone, off the Mike Sports Network here. NBA coverage here. So, oh my God. Um, so one topic that really hasn't been addressed specifically is disappointing teams because I've talked about Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's actually at least being competitive this year. Phoenix is kind of in the mix, but let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers here. So, the Sixers on Tuesday lost to the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors are one of the worst teams in the NBA. They're 17-37. And if you watch this game, there was a play near the end of this game where Joel Embiid, the superstar of this team, who everybody has believed in trusting the process, Joel Embiid gets a wide open look for three at the top of the key. They're down, I think, by 2 points in this game. Joel Embiid decides to pump fake, dribble through. He loses the ball, and the Raptors get the ball. They make a free throw. They win by 3 points, 106-103. The Sixers are now 20-33 this season. This is the offseason where they extended Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey is still there. And they made a huge move to sign Paul George. And it was a much heralded move. Everybody thought that the Sixers were going to be the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference this year, along with Milwaukee and the usual suspects. Never mind the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA, and people still want to disrespect them because nobody wants to care about a team from Cleveland, Ohio. But you know what? That's not what this video is about. The Sixers, if this goes the way it currently is going, let's take a look at the standings here in the NBA right now. The Philadelphia 76ers are not even in the play-in right now. They're a game and a half out of the 10 spot. Chicago got absolutely annihilated by my friend Lane and her Detroit Pistons. Got annihilated by the Detroit Pistons. The Bulls are not very good. And they just traded the best player, Zach LaVine. The Sixers aren't even that good. At least with the Phoenix Suns, who I've been critical of, yes, the Suns are only a half game out. In a much more competitive, they're a 500 team. That's how deep the Western Conference is. The Sixers are 13 games under 500 this year. They're below 500 in both home and road games. Like, it's mind-blowing that you could have and I understand injuries are a part of this. And, you know, Tyrese Maxey's been hurt. Paul George has been hurt. Shocker. Joel Embiid's been hurt. But I saw a topic on ESPN saying, okay, are the Sixers failing Joel Embiid and, wasting his prime? If anything, Joel Embiid has failed the Philadelphia 76ers. They've done everything. The Sixers have done everything to surround this guy with, the maximum level talent. They brought in James Harden, and that didn't work. James Harden wanted to get the hell out of there. They had Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler got out of there. Like, they've had Ben Simmons. That was a weird fit. But listen, this team has been on the doorstep of getting to, the peak of the Eastern Conference, but they can't even get to a conference finals. Joel Embiid's been in the NBA for over a decade, okay? And seeing that play against a bad team in the Toronto Raptors, where you pass up a wide open three, I understand you're a big guy, but Joel Embiid is capable of making that shot. When you pass up that level of shot and then proceed to lose the ball, that is a microcosm of where the Sixers team is. They may make the play-in, and they may be a dangerous team down the stretch, and who's to say, because they're talented enough. But to see this team 13 games under 500 in a game and a half back in a bad Eastern Conference, Like, let me read you off the teams that are ahead of them. Miami just has been dealing with a bunch of bullshit. Miami's at the top of the plan. Like Detroit, by the way, credit to the Detroit Pistons. Lane, your team is coming. I've said this before. Detroit is good. Detroit's at 6. They're firmly in the playoffs right now. A game and a half clear of the 4 teams in the playoff. But 7 through 10, Miami is 1 game under 500. 25-26 in the 7th spot. Mind you, Miami has been in and out of issues with Jimmy Butler the entire season, and they just traded him. They're ahead of him. Atlanta just traded one of their better players. They're still really good. They've got Trae Young, but Atlanta is still around. Orlando has been dealing with injuries to a bunch of their players, including Paolo Banchero. They're 9. The Chicago Bulls got absolutely annihilated. They were losing like by like 35 points. Like I think it was like 60-22 or so. It was something crazy early on in that game. The Bulls just traded their best player, Zach LaVine. All of those teams are ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers right now. That is how bad this has gotten. They're one of the most disappointing teams frankly, in league history. This team that I was expecting to be at the top of the Eastern Conference, and it directly falls down to the guy who they've been trying to build this thing around for years. Joel Embiid's not a championship player. He's not. Why did it work in the Olympics? Because he was literally like the 6th or 7th option. And even then, people got pissed off at him. This guy's not a winning player. He's not. You can't win games with him. Like, look, they're a game ahead of Brooklyn. The team where his ex-teammate Ben Simmons just got outcasted from. Brooklyn's not good. Toronto had been terrible. They beat them tonight. Toronto's only 3.5 games back. And then you get to the doldrums of the Eastern Conference, Charlotte and Washington. Those are the only teams that Philadelphia is better than in an Eastern Conference that is not good. I didn't want to look into this story, but I saw the video of what happened at the end of this game, knowing who it was against, and it just gets me thinking about, God, man, what a failure this group is. What a failure this is. And you're only as good as your best players. Paul George, we know what he is. Tyrese Maxey, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, is a great player, and he should be the leader of this team. But this has always been about Joel Embiid. It's always been about the process. And you've seen the sample size over so many years, you can't win with this guy. No further evidence than that last play in a nondescript game in the middle of February. Joel Embiid's just not going to get you done. So I don't know where the Sixers go. Like I said, they may make the playoffs. They may make the play-in tournament. They may make me a little nervous if they find their way into the 8th spot and the Cavs are the 1 seed and they work their way through the play-in tournament and become the 8th seed. Maybe I'm a little bit nervous, but what a mess this has been. 20-33 before the All-Star break. What a joke. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.